नंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे जय प्रहलाद नृसिंह जय प्रहलाद नृसिंह जय अनंत देव जय पंचतत्व जय पंचतत्व जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय श्री श्री राधा माधव की श्री श्री नृसिंहदेव भगवान की श्री श्री पंचतत्व की श्रील प्रभुपाद की ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। मुखाकरोति वाचालं पंगोरं गायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदिनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरं। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते जयपताकस्वामिनिति नामिने नमाचार्यपादाय निताय कृपप्रदायिने गौरकथादामदाय नगरग्रामतारिणे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वतीदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 7, Text 33, 34, 35, and 36. Text 33. दृष्ट्वा भूतानि बहुशो नन्दगोपो बृहद्वने वसुदेव वचो भूयो मानायाम ashavismitaha. Translation. Having seen all these incidents in Brihadvana, Nanda Maharaj became more and more astonished, and he remembered the words spoken to him by Vasudeva in Mathura. Text 34. Ekadarbakam adaya svankam aropya bhamini prashnutam payayam asha sthanam sneha paripluta. Translation. One day, Mother Yashoda, having taken Krishna up and placed him on her lap, was feeding him milk from her breast with maternal affection. The milk was flowing from her breast, and the child was drinking it. Text 35 and 36. We have 36 on the board. I'll do 35 first. Pita prayasa janani sutasya ruchirasmitam mukham lalayati rajan jrimbato dadrishe idam. Text 36. Kham rodasi jyotir anikam ashaha Suryendu vahni svasanam budimscha Dvipanagam stadduhritir vanani Bhutani yani sthirajaganmani. Kham rodasi jyotiranikam ashaha Suryendu vahni svasanam budimscha Dvipanagam stadduhritir vanani Bhutani yani stira jaganmani. Jangam. Kham rodasi jyotiranikam ashaha Suryendu vahni svasanam budimscha Dvipanagam stadduhritir vanani Bhutani yani stira jangamani. Vaishnavis. Dasi Jyotiranikamasa Suryenduvani Swasanamudimscha Danyani Sthirajangamani Kamashaha Suryenduvani Swasanamudimscha Word by word translation. Come, the sky. Rodashi, both the higher planetary system and the earth. Jyoti Anikam, the luminaries. Ashaha, the directions. Surya, the sun. Indu, the moon. Vahni, fire. Swasana, the air. Ambudin, the seas. Cha, and. Dvipan, the islands. Nagan, the mountains. Tadduhriti, the daughters of the mountains. The rivers. Vanani, forests. Bhutani, all kinds of living entities. Yani, which are. Sthira Jaganmani, non-moving and moving. Translation. O King Parikshit, when the child Krishna was almost finished drinking his mother's milk and Mother Yashoda was touching him and looking at his beautiful, brilliantly smiling face, the baby yawned, and Mother Yashoda saw in his mouth the whole sky, the higher planetary system, and the earth, the luminaries in all directions, the sun, the moon, fire, air, the seas, islands, mountains, rivers, forests, and all kinds of living entities, moving and non-moving. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. By the arrangement of Yogamaya, Krishna's pastimes with Mother Yashoda were all regarded as ordinary. So here was an opportunity for Krishna to show his mother that the whole universe is situated within him. In his small form, Krishna was kind enough to show his mother the Virat Rupa, the universal form, so that she could enjoy seeing what kind of child she had on her lap. The rivers have been mentioned here as the daughters of the mountains. Nagam stadduhirtre. It is the flowing of the rivers that makes big forests possible. There are living entities everywhere, some of them moving and some of them not moving. No place is vacant. This is a special feature of God's creation. If you like to repeat the translation. O King Parikshit, when the child Krishna was almost finished drinking his mother's milk, and Mother Yashoda was touching him and looking at his beautiful, brilliantly smiling face, the baby yawned, and Mother Yashoda saw in his mouth the whole sky, the higher planetary system, and the earth, the luminaries in all directions, the sun, the moon, fire, air, the seas, islands, mountains, rivers, forests, and all kinds of living entities, moving and non-moving. So here in these verses, we have three protagonists of Vatsalya Rasa. So Vasudeva, being the father of Krishna, he knew that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because let's get like a synopsis of what's going on here, a little flashback. So the night Krishna was born, the gates opened. The guards fell asleep. River Yamuna made way for Vasudeva to carry Krishna. So all these miraculous, mystical incidents made Vasudeva very, very clear about who he was carrying with him across the Yamuna to bring this little baby Krishna to Gokula. And when Vasudeva came back to the prison cell, he had to make sure that everything was all right. And when Kamsa was informed about the birth of the baby, he was very nervous, and he rushed to the prison cell, and Devaki pleaded to Kamsa so forgivingly for all the things he had done with no anger. She pleaded, look, this is a baby girl. Please spare her. She's not going to do anything, so please spare her. And Kamsa ruthlessly, mercilessly grabbed hold of this little baby girl, and he was about to smash this child just as he had done with the rest of the children, and the baby slipped out of his hands. Haridarankusha Shakti, Parashune Gili Kadga, Sarasi Jagade Mudkara, Chapa Margana, Varabhaya Masala, Paripari Ayudava, Dharisi Merevala Kumi, Sarasi Jabhava Rudra, Sarva Devategala, Karuna Pangadalli, Nirikshisi Avaravara, Swarupa Sukha Koduva, Siribhumi Durga, Sarvottamanamma, Vijaya Vitthalanangri, Parama Bhakuti Inda Smarisuva Jagat Janani. So this child, immediately, as soon as it slipped out of his hands, she went up in the sky, and she appeared there with 8 arms. And she was the youngest sister of none other than Vishnu. She was decorated with beautiful ornaments and flower garlands. And in her, each of the 8 arms, she held a bow, a lance, arrow, sword, conch shell, club, shield. And seeing this appearance, Kamsa got so stunned that there was a moment of transformation for him. And Durga Devi, she spoke to Kamsa and she said, "You rascal, how can you kill me? The one who's going to kill you is already born. And don't be so cruel to your sister." So right after this, Kamsa releases Devaki and Vasudeva. And meanwhile, while all this is going on, and also Kamsa apologizes. He says, "Please forgive me. I've been so cruel. I've been so idiotic. You know, I heard this mystical voice telling me that this baby will be cause of my death, so I reacted in a very mature way. Please take all this as divine intervention. Everything is under the control of the Supreme. We all take birth and we all die." Anyway, you know, he was trying to preach to Devaki and Vasudeva to forgive him of all the offenses for killing the children. So after this philosophical debate, for the time being, he releases Devaki and Vasudeva. And meanwhile, in Gokula, there's this huge celebration. Yashoda Dulala Govinda Gopala Vrindavana Purandara Gopi Priya Jana Radhika Ramana Bhuvana Sundara Bara. So after the birth ceremony, everyone is relishing the beauty of Yashoda Dulala, Govinda Gopala, Nanda Maharaj's little boy Krishna. And there's joy in everyone's heart, and especially in the hearts of Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj. So Yashoda, Nanda, and Vasudeva are the 3 protagonists in these verses of the Vatsalya Bhava. And right after the birth ceremony, Nanda Maharaj decides to go pay visit to Mathura to pay taxes to Kamsa. So when he goes to Mathura there, he meets Vasudeva, and he becomes so joyful on meeting Vasudeva, and they both embrace each other, and they have a wonderful conversation that today we are referring to, where Vasudeva is Nanda Maharaj is remembering what Vasudeva had said. So at this time, the conversation, see, this is so amazing. No other world religion can claim that they know, they have a historic record of what, that first of all, no other world religion can say this. The Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared and he performed several pastimes. Nobody can claim that. And on top of that, there are all these leelas, such intricacies of rasas that it's just mind-blowing how the relationship between Krishna and the devotees, and not only that, the rasa between the devotees. So here we have Vasudeva, who knows that Krishna is the Supreme, and Vasudeva knows that Krishna is his son, whereas Nanda Maharaj does not know the historical events of what happened and Krishna. So Vasudeva is very diplomatically asking, how are the animals doing in Gokula? How are all the citizens doing? How is the well-being of everybody? And how is Balaram? And how is Rohini? And you also have been celebrating the birth of your little boy Krishna. And how is he? So Vasudeva, it is described that he is having mixture of rasas, that I a little later refer to Nectar of Devotion about the mixing of the rasas. Among within Vatsalya rasa, there is different rasas, and there is the rasa of compassion here. So although Vasudeva knows Krishna is the Supreme Lord, he is still worried, he's concerned, he has this compassion towards Krishna, so he's inquiring what is going on. And he wants Nanda Maharaj. He says, please pay taxes quickly and go back to Gokula, because some dangerous things can be happening, please go back. And Nanda Maharaj thinks, oh, if Vasudeva is saying this, there must be truth to it. So he immediately rushes. So so let's kind of observe that, again, that the rasa in Nanda Maharaj's heart is basically, this is the same Supreme Personality of Godhead who's taken different avatars. He's the same one who, one of the Vaishnava saints, Purandaradasa, says, Mandaragiriya yetidananda murutiye baro Nandana Kanda Govinda Mukunda Nandana Kanda Govinda Mukunda Indire Arasane Baro. So again, this is a song that is describing the mixing of the rasas, of how Krishna, like Rupa Goswami is speaking about the Chaturvyuha of Krishna, when he manifests in these 4 different moods. He manifests as Dhirodatta, very sober, very grave type of pastimes he performs, like, for example, Ramachandra. Then he appears, he manifests the mood of Dhira Lalita, and Rupa Goswami says that the Brahmanas, in the pastime of Krishna, the wives of the Brahmanas, they describe that Krishna's mood when he comes to them and he's dealing with the gopis. They say this is a Dhira Lalita mood of Krishna. Very unpredictable, very romantic, very cute, you can say in one word. Then there is Dhira Prashanta. He also manifests himself, like it is described that when Krishna performed his pastimes with the Pandavas, he had that mood of Dhira Prashanta. And then Dhirodatta is when he fights the enemies and he throws back insults at the enemies and so on. So in this pastime, we are seeing how the Tattva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is his, let's say, his tattva aspect, and then in his rasa aspect, he's having these sweet mellows of rasas mixed with conjugal, with compassion, etc. We'll see some references, which is very interesting. So let me just continue the pastime. So after Nanda Maharaj comes back to Gokula, after paying the taxes quickly, and again we are seeing the Supreme Lord, where Kamsa is sending all these demons to attack, and Nrsinga Vamana Shri Madhusudana Vrajendra Nandana Shama Putana Ghatana Kaitaba Satana Jaya Dasharati Rama. So out of this I want to take the Putana Ghatana. So just as Nanda Maharaj arrives there, there's this whole pastime of Putana. This huge witch comes there and takes Krishna, and there's all this dramatic incident that just happened, and Nanda Maharaj thinks, wow, Vasudeva is very mystical. How could he predict the events being there all the way in Mathura? He knew what's going to happen in Vrindavan. So there is this astonishment mixed with Vatsalya Rasa. That's another mellow, it's another mixture. Then of course, here in these verses, we see the Virat Rupa. Krishna is doing another, he's giving another opportunity for mixture of rasas here. So Yashoda, Adi Sidal Yashoda, Jagadodharana, Jagadodharana, Maganendu Tiliyuta. This is a very famous song in South India. Jagadodharana. Jagadodhara means the protector and the maintainer of the entire universe. So Yashoda Mai is thinking this Jagadodhara is my son, and she is playing with little Krishna and feeding little Krishna. And even for her, when she sees this Virat Rupa, this Virat Rupa is different from the Virat Rupa like Krishna manifests to Arjuna, because there are different times to different people that Krishna shows this Virat Rupa. What I mean different is, it's not as gory as what Arjuna sees. And this is only one verse that describes the Virat Rupa to Mother Yashoda. There is another time again when Krishna eats the mud and Mother Yashoda asks him to open the mouth. That's another time that he actually shows the Virata form to Mother Yashoda. So I thought today we'll also see a little bit how different people reacted to seeing this Virat Rupa. Mother Yashoda, in this case, she closes her eyes. She is like, Jagadodharana Maganendu Tiliyuta. For her, Krishna is her son, and he's the baby darling, and that is her rasa. And when she sees that universal form, she's just like, closes her eyes. And Arjuna's reaction when he sees the Virat Rupa is also similar. I want to quote this verse from Madhvacharya himself. Madhvacharya says, this is a Sanskrit verse where he describes this Virat Rupa, and he says, Srishti samhara leela vilasatatam pushtasad gunyasad vigrahollasinam dushtanishesha samharakam modyatam hrishtapuштati shishta prajasam shrayayam prinayamo vasudevam devata mandala khandamandalam prinayamo vasudevam. So he very, very poetically describes the Virat Rupa. And Srishti Samhara Leela Vilasatatam. So for Krishna, the creation and destruction, these are all leelas that he manifests. And it is said that he protects those who are devotees and he destroys those who are demons. And that's what Arjuna actually sees, that everything is destroyed in the blazing fire of this Virata Rupa, and he sees all these great demigods, and he sees all the opulences in this Virata Rupa. The main important thing that Madhvacharya emphasizes is the aspect of how everything is meant to remind us of Krishna, and that again kind of brings us, this verse also speaks the same that Krishna speaks in Bhagavad Gita, where he's describing how Prabhupada is also speaking of this in the verse, how everything is sacred. Prabhupada says in this purport, in the last sentence, no place is vacant. And this is a special feature of God's creation. And this reminds, the Virat Rupa also reminds of this description that Krishna gives, how mountains are his bones and birds are his artistic senses and the colors of the sun are his dress. So all these great manifestation is meant to connect us to Vasudeva and Prinayamo Vasudevam, to develop love for Krishna, to develop love for Vasudeva. It's all meant for that purpose and to create that rasa in us. So basically, the Virat Rupa is the first step, let's say the first level that Krishna wants to flash his opulence and say, here I am God. And that again, like I'm thinking of Duryodhan. Duryodhan also was shown Virat Rupa when he tried to kidnap Krishna. I mean, he wanted to imprison Krishna. When Krishna came as Shanti Duta, he came to make peace, and Duryodhana captured him. And that time, when Krishna showed the universal form, this whole thing, Shrishti, Samhara, Leela, Vilaya, everything, he saw everything that Arjuna was also seeing, but the reactions were so different. Where Arjuna said, wow, Krishna, O Lord of Lords, who holds the world, please be merciful unto me. I'm seeing all these rivers like gushing into the sea and all these people rushing into your mouth, like, you know, they're burning and all this fire, and who are you? Please reveal to me and please come back to your four-armed form. I can't tolerate this blazing fire and your ferocious teeth that is devouring everything. So Arjuna is again taking that mood of, it's a devotional mellow mixed with ghastly, or not ghastly, what's the right word? Dread, like the mood of dread, like, and actually later in Bhakti, in Nectar of Devotion, it said that compassion and dread is compatible in the rasas. I'll quote that shortly. Okay, then, yeah. So Arjuna's reaction was that of, wow. And Yashoda's reaction was, she just closed her eyes. And Duryodhan's reaction was, this is just a trick. He didn't even believe it. So even the first step to accept the truth, he couldn't get it. Even Dhritarashtra was shown the Virat Rupa. The blind king was given vision to see. He didn't get it either. I mean, he didn't get it that who is the person standing here. Then the next level, Krishna is in our heart as Paramatma, and he inspires us. And then the level of Bhagavan, understanding who is Krishna. So even Virat Rupa level, if it's not understood. This morning I was reading like Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said, the Ashraya Tattva and the Ashrita Tattva. So it is said that we need to understand Ashrita Tattva to be able to understand the Ashraya. In other words, if we can't see God everywhere, it's hard to see God in God. So Krishna helps us to see him through the universal form, through the Virat Rupa. Okay, so now I want to share these mixing of the rasas. It's amazing. There is also an example of a mixture of parental love and compassion in devotional service. When Mother Yashoda was thinking that her son was walking in the forest without an umbrella or shoes, she became greatly perturbed to think how much difficulty Krishna must be feeling. So in this example, the parental love, and the part of it is compassion. And then there is parental love with laughter. I'd like to quote this pastime with this poem of Vaishnava saint Purandaradasa. He says, Mudadi mukunda sadanaka banda dadiyami salubenne tinda ninna kanda ananda gopike ninna magajara iva chora sukumara. So one day, a friend of Mother Yashoda, a gopi, comes and says, Dear Yashoda, your son, very cunningly, he stole the lump of butter from my house. And to put that blame, he smeared the butter on the mouth of my son. And my son was sleeping, and he smeared the butter and he left. And upon hearing this, what could Mother Yashoda do? She just curved her eyebrows and smiled. So the emotion is again mixed with laughter. So she could only look at the gopi and just smile. And in fact, what did the gopi do? She smiled back. So may Mother Yashoda bless everyone with this smiling attitude. So in this example, the whole is the parental love and the part is the laughter. And then there is another thing from Bhakti, from Nectar of Devotion. This is the mixture of several like humors mixed with Vatsalya. Govinda Gopala Gopika Vallabha Govardhanodharaka Govardhanodharaka. So this is during the pastime of Govardhan Leela. So Krishna is there, standing, holding the entire Govardhan hill with his pinky finger, and Mother Yashoda is looking up at Krishna, and Krishna's hair is all scattered over his shoulder, and he appeared to be perspiring. And seeing this, Mother Yashoda, she began to tremble. And she was looking at Krishna with huge eyes, and as soon as Krishna saw Mother Yashoda looking at him, he immediately started doing caricature faces, like fun, I don't know what kind of faces he made, but started making faces, funny faces, and immediately Mother Yashoda started laughing. So this is and then again, and she became very happy and she started to smile, and her whole clothes, looking at Krishna making that effort, she started perspiring. Her whole clothes became wet, soaked with perspiration. And may Mother Yashoda, Vrajeshwari, protect the whole universe by her infinite mercy. In this example, the whole is parental love, and the parts are dread, wonder, laughter, and compassion. So it's like, again, the mixture of different rasas. It is demonstrated in this pastime. And so this is a Nectar of Devotion 49 and mixing of rasas. And this is the principle here. Although there are gulfs of differences between them, means between the rasas, with the ecstasy of parental affection, a mixture of laughter, compassion, or dread is compatible. I mean, it's something fascinating. And it is said that the deity of astonishment is Kurma. In fact, there is all these descriptions of how different avatars of Krishna manifest these different rasas, different emotions. And interestingly, even in Vedic astrology, every planet has the particular Vishnu avatar as the Lord, and each of these planets has this particular emotion or this particular quality of, for example, of fear. Like Rahu is the planet of fear, and Varahadev is manifesting that emotion of that fear. And then Kurma is about the dread. What was that? Kurma was about astonishment. And fear or dread is Varaha. It's all very interesting. Like Rahu is the deity of Varaha, and that dread, that fear is intrinsically connected, and the Lord is Varaha. And I want to read this section. It's from Srimad Bhagavatam 12th canto. This is about Kurma. I thought this is very relevant for all of us to meditate on. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared as Lord Kurma, a tortoise, his back was scratched by the sharp-edged stones lying on massive, whirling mountain Mandara. And this scratching made the Lord sleepy. May you all be protected by the winds caused by the Lord's breathing in his sleepy condition. Ever since that time, even up to the present day, the ocean tides have imitated the Lord's inhalation and exhalation by piously coming in and going out. And in the purport, at times we alleviate an itching sensation by blowing upon it. Like, when we have an itchy sensation. Similarly, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains the breathing of the Supreme Personality of Godhead can alleviate the itching sensation within the minds of mental speculators, as well as the itching of the material senses of conditioned souls engaged in sense gratification. Thus, by meditating on the windy breath of Lord Kurma, the tortoise incarnation, all categories of conditioned souls can be relieved of the deficiencies of material existence and come to the liberated spiritual platform. One must simply allow the pastimes of Lord Kurma to blow within one's heart like a favorable breeze, then one will surely find spiritual peace. I thought of quoting this because we are speaking about this astonishment. Here Nanda Maharaj is astonished to see Vasudeva's prediction coming true. Mother Yashoda is astonished to see inside Krishna's mouth the entire universe. And this mixing of the mellows, the mixing of the rasas, how they are compatible, and how Krishna, when he appears in each incarnation, he manifests that particular mood, that particular rasa, which is reflected in us, our moods, and therefore the only way we can, let's say, alleviate our emotional ups and downs is by connecting them with Krishna and seeing how we can take shelter of Krishna. And as this Bhagavatam verse says, like, allow that breath to blow within our hearts so we can actually alleviate our emotional ups and downs. So nothing is disconnected. Everything is interconnected. So the Virat Rupa is the macrocosm, and what we are able to perceive, conceive, meditate on Krishna on the microcosm level, on our smaller level, they are actually so interconnected, and it's very fascinating. So these are some points I have. If anybody has some comments to add to this beautiful section of Srimad Bhagavatam. Yes. Okay, yeah. So this is in the Brihat Parashara. Oh, the question is, I said that Varaha is connected to Rahu, and so she's asking, could I explain a little bit about that? So this is from the Brihat Parashara Hora Shastra. It's written by Parashara. So each planet, Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Venus, Rahu, Ketu, Saturn, each of these planets have their own planetary deities, and these planetary deities have a specific Krishna's avatar as their lord. For example, let's take Venus. The planetary lord is Shukra, okay? And the supreme lord, the deity, controlling deity of Venus is Parashuram. So like this, Parashara explains the connection with different manifestations of Krishna with planets, how it rules. And if you see the function of the planet, and then you actually see the pastime of Krishna, it's so interconnected. For example, the pastime of Samudra Mathana, the churning of the ocean, it's the pastime to remember the origin of Rahu. Okay? So Rahu is this planet who disguises himself to come amongst the devas so he can trick the devas. And he assumed he can trick also Vishnu, because Rahu is very, very clever and very, very powerful. he did not get completely lost, and so he wanted to trick even Mohini Murti. So he sat amongst the devatas, dressed as a devata to get the nectar. So Vishnu, Krishna, Mohini Murti, as soon as the nectar touched the lip of Rahu, immediately came to know, and he used Sudarshan Chakra and cut the head off Rahu. Because the nectar had touched the lips, the head remained, the body got cut off, and they became two halves, Rahu and Ketu. It's one person, and one person, Rahu and Ketu is actually one person, but they became separated. That's why in astrology you will always see wherever Rahu is situated, Ketu is situated exactly opposite. If Rahu is in the first, Ketu is in the seventh. If Rahu is in the second, Ketu will be in the eighth. So they are they're one. So they always move. They are interconnected. And Varahadev. So the deity Varaha is the lord of the planetary deity Rahu. Okay, so like that. So every planet has that rasa, the mood, the dread, and Rahu is that planet. Actually, Rahu, it is said by Parashara that Rahu is the planet which brings the living entity to this material world. Because Rahu represents the forbidden desires, the desires to enjoy separately from Krishna. And this pastime of the ocean churning represents that. Rahu wanted to go against the rule. He wanted to trick the devas. He wanted to trick even the Lord. So he tried to do that. And that pastime also teaches us that as soon as the living entity wants to enjoy separately and tries to trick, we become bodiless or headless at times, depends on the situation. So we can never trick the universal law. That's another thing. Something else I wanted to add to Varaha and Varaha, oh yeah, within that pastime is also connected Kurma. Kurma is actually the lord of Saturn. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is speaking about this in Surya Siddhanta. There is all these descriptions, and one thing Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur speaks about, for example, Matsya. Matsya is the lord of Ketu. So he says, like this one we read in the 12th canto, the breathing of the Kurma actually alleviates the material conditioning. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, Ketu represents the subconscious mind. The subconscious. So it's kind of like Rahu acts based on material desires, and Ketu has to face the consequence. And so Bhakti Siddhanta says that because Ketu is the planet of subconscious mind, and the deity of Ketu is Matsya, and where does Matsya live? In the water. And he says, just as Matsya goes deep inside the waters, similarly may Matsya enter my heart and go into that subconscious and clear me from all this past mess and liberate me from that. So it's about that entering again, like, so it's very interesting how, yeah. Yes, Mahalakshmi Prabhu. Is the mic not working?
Hare Krishna. Well, you mentioned about Rahu because it drank the nectar, became immortal, the head became immortal, but the body still remained, and it didn't reach the nectar there. So
no.
How was that? It remained as it didn't die and become powder.
oh, why it didn't die and become powder? There's a whole description. I can send you a little interesting story about that part. But basically, the Supreme Lord decides to kind of do that. They remain, it's like it's said, most of the things the human beings tend to do under the influence of Rahu, it's kind of like, we don't think of the consequences, which is illusion. Rahu is all about illusion, because Rahu thought, I'll get the nectar, I'll survive, but he didn't. So his other half got cut. But there are many I can't remember exactly like one answer to this, because there are many explanations to this. Why he didn't just die and the head alive and the body part. I can't give you the answer right now, but I can send you something I have. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for your wonderful class. Was that quote from the 12th canto of Kurma in his breathing?
Yes.
Was that text 2? Can I read the translation to that? Because that text 2 talks about the breathing of Kurma.
Yes.
It's so wonderful, and it
Yes,
does
please,
relate.
please.
So here's the translation. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared as Lord Kurma, a tortoise, his back was being scratched by the sharp-edged stones lying on massive, whirling Mount Mandara, and this scratching made the Lord sleepy. May you all be protected by the winds caused by the Lord's breathing in this sleepy condition. I just love that.
Yeah.
Ever since that time, even up to the present day, the ocean tides have imitated the Lord's inhalation and exhalation by piously coming in and going out. Hare Krishna.
Wonderful, Hare Krishna. Thank you. So when we go to the shore of the ocean and we hear that, we can remember this past time. So everything is that reflection, everything is that replica to remind us of Krishna, to think of him, to invoke those rasas, which is in us. And that's what we are looking for everywhere. And Krishna is amazing. Any other comment? Yes, Prabhu. Can we pass the mic, please? I hear only Parashuram. I don't hear the whole thing.
Thank you very much. Parasuram connecting the planet?
Venus.
Thank you.
And yeah, I mean, it's interesting again with Bhagavatam, you find depths. It's like jewel. It's like a well of jewels. You just fetch amazing gems out of it. This pastime of Parashuram is very interesting. The personality Parashuram, we know what a powerful personality and dynamic personality Parashuram is. And he is the lord of planet Venus, and planet Venus deity is Shukra, Shukracharya. Okay? And Shukracharya is the guru of the demons. Oh, sorry. I mean, the deity is Shukra and the lord of the deity is Parashuram. And on the other hand, who is the guru of the Devatas? Brihaspati. And Brihaspati is the planetary deity of Jupiter, Guru. Okay, Brihaspati is the planetary deity of Jupiter, and Shukracharya is the planetary deity of Venus. Okay, and in Srimad Bhagavatam, we see very interesting story. And the lord of Jupiter, Brihaspati's lord, is Vamanadev. So the lord of Jupiter is Vamanadev. So we see this pastime where Bali Maharaj, and the guru of Bali Maharaj was Shukracharya, Venus. So he was there and he told Bali Maharaj to not give the charity, because he knew who is standing in front is the lord of the guru of the enemies, who is Brihaspati's guru. I mean, Brihaspati's lord is Vamanadev. So there has always been, since time immemorial, enmity between Venus and Jupiter. So in Vedic astrology, Jupiter and Venus are enemies. And in Bhagavatam, you find the source of why they are enemies. It's so interesting. So because Jupiter is always pushing us to do religious activities, give charity. It's a typical planet of progression, surrender, authority. You know, it's always trying to push you to do good. And Venus is always telling you, come on, enjoy, be comfortable. So they don't get along. So there's always these rasas, like here we spoke about dread and compassion, and Vatsalya rasa is compatible. But there are some rasas which are not compatible. So it's very interesting that Bhagavatam has the answers to all questions of human existence and beyond. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, thank you for your class. I want to know, because so many devotees, astrology or no astrology, say you have some you have some very bad planets like Rahu or Ketu, something like that. You want to use some stone or gold. This is true or what? According to the Vedas, I want to know.
The best remedy is to worship the deities of the planets, like the Supreme Lord. That's the only way we can remove the karma. Or rings, I mean, they don't solve the problem. You only, okay, first of all, you said bad planets. There is no bad planets. And speaking of Rahu, we all are influenced by Rahu, and that's the very fact we came to this material world. That material desire is what brought us here. And that's represented in our charts with Rahu. Each of us have a different lesson in life, and that Rahu represents what is that lesson? What did we not get? What is that illusion we are stuck with? So by wearing a stone, lifetimes of karma cannot be diminished. Now, the idea of stones in Vedic Shastras is that people usually have problem with faith. Okay, that's the reason they get entangled into conditional life. That's why we have problems. So the idea of stones, remedies, was to somehow or another instill faith in the minds of people. There is something beyond you and your mind. And so maybe in one sense the Virat Rupa is the way to make people believe that's God. So similarly, maybe even more preliminary is to say, there are deities, and those deities have a particular stone, and if you have faith in the deities, you take this and then slowly to bring these people to believe in Krishna, to believe in the Supreme Lord. But traditionally, the scriptures were not available for any class of people. The Shudras could not even touch Shastras. So the idea was the Brahmanas would slowly, gradually instill faith in the minds of people by giving them some representation of planets, and because they couldn't chant mantras. But today, everybody can chant mantras. So we can chant Bhagavatam verses of Kurma. We don't have to go here and there to remedy Saturn. We read Kurma and we get the benefit much, much, much more. And like Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, we have a Ketu problem. We study the section of Matsya. We learn those verses of Matsya. Then there is transformation in the mind. Then we stop doing that activity with that illusion that we started it with. Is it Einstein who says you cannot solve a problem with the same mentality that you created it? Yeah? So stones is not going to change that. It only gives us some faith. But then nowadays the science is lost. Astrologers don't have anything else. Many people, astrology is perfect. Astrologers are not. Many astrologers, they just try to make money, and maybe they didn't have a karma to make in some other career, so they think astrology is a way. And they did not maybe even learn properly. So you can check on Amazon how to mess up your life with astrology. This is a book, it's from a Vaishnava perspective. In today's day and age, 99.9% of the time it's how to mess up with astrology, how to put your faith into stones. Why you want to put your faith into stones? These deities of the stones worship Varaha, Kurma, Nrsimha, Vamana, right? We have access to the presidential assembly. Why go and bribe somebody lower? Okay, we end here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.